Page 36, Piano Concerto No. 3. This is a theme from the third movement. 3 flats. It's in the key of E flat major or C minor. Well, look at the end. The last measure on the bottom of page 37, you have a C minor chord. I'd say it's probably in C minor. Right hand first. Pick up 2/4 time, 1 and 2 and. I like to use a 1-2-1 on these repeated notes. Now using a thumb again. Another fingering you can try here at the top here. This is the last 2 measures of the first line. You're here is stay here. 3rd finger, 4. Now thumb. And I don't use the thumb then until the first beat of the second line there. So it's here. And then here, going up these 16th notes, I do a 2-3-1. To me is more comfortable than their fingering. Their fingering works. I mean, if you want to use it, do it, but I prefer this other. To me, it just flows a little better. So at the beginning of the second line here, it's 1, 2, 3. And then a 1. To me, it was like that. They just got you using 1-2-1 a lot. Yeah. Then you go on 1-2-1 again. Now they want 3rd finger here, and then 5th finger. That finger is fine. Then go up, and again 1-2-1, and a 2 on the F. And I do a 3, or it's a 4-3-4. Like so, and then for the last beat of that page is 5th finger. Or the last 8th note, I should say. And then top of page 37, second measure, it's the 16th notes, is 2-1. I don't recommend the same finger on those. If you can, try this. This is for all those G's, the 16th notes. 3, it's a 5-3-1-3-1-5. The idea is just find a combination of fingers so you're not using the same finger. It doesn't matter what the fingers are, but you need to end it on a 5th finger, and you need to start it on probably a 4th or 5th finger. But it's really up to you. The fingering you use, I could use to 1-3-1-3. Just make sure the last 16th note there is with 5th finger. That's what counts. And same thing in the first measure of the second line. And then for the last measure of the second line, they're saying 3. I prefer a 2. To me, it's easier. Just reach up. And then for the last one, you do need a thumb on that. Because that way you can reach that F. That is an F, by the way. It's way up there. 3rd line down, last measure. Here. I do for the 16th notes is 3. Here, and then I do a 1 on the second 8th note. So 3-1. It's a little weird in the last line. 4, stretch down if you can to connect them with the legato with the fingers. Left hand, keep the left hand soft. It's just accompanying here. Be natural. 3rd line down on page 36. Now it's here. B flat here. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and here. Don't forget the A flat. There's the last line on page 36. Their fingering is fine. Let's go over to page 37. 3rd line down, you're here, here. last chord in the third line, it's a B flat, C, E flat, or E natural, excuse me, here. See. Try to put the hands together very slowly. Hold that down as you do that. Here, watch out here in the last line on page 37 here. Now here you have a B natural but an E flat. There. So you work it out so it works under your fingers okay. It doesn't matter how slow you go, but you want to get it to where you can do it without the hesitating. So go as slow as you got to go, but get to where the beat is steady. And we can add the articulation, mainly for the right hand here. It's a little misleading sometimes on these slur markings. You think, oh, I got to connect all that? No, you don't have to connect all that, because sometimes it's a phrase, and you can have disconnected notes in a phrase. Then another thing that we keep in mind is this is an arrangement, and if the orchestra is playing this, those slur lines, if they just copied them from the orchestra into the piano music, it gets it all wrong, because the slurs, these lines, curved lines, for an orchestra part is not the same as for a piano. It doesn't mean the same thing. So a lot of times they're inappropriate. Here, go ahead and sort of connect it. It's like a phrase, but on these, you can separate those slightly. I mean, you have to anyway, the repeated notes. Now lift up, and I would connect this to the next note. I would connect all that together. And then lift up. And again, after these 16th note runs, like connect those to the next what comes after it. You can separate before the 16th note bit, but connect it to what comes after it. You get the idea? Then just follow the slurs, and the slurs again are for the right hand. Keep the left hand as legato as you can, pretty much. You do get a little bit of slurring in the left hand, but you do that anyway. So at the third line down on page 36, pick up to the last measures here. Over on page 37, second line, last measure here. I would slur all those 16th notes together here. And connect it to the F. So it's. Now these are two note slurs there in the third line. Just down, up, down, up. But I would connect to the C. I would not separate. No. So it's here, up, now connect it. Now lift up. And connect, at the bottom, connect all those 16th notes together. That's what I recommend. Then when you can get that, go ahead and put in some dynamics. It starts moderately loud at the beginning. That's the right hand. Keep the left hand soft. See in the second line you have that swell. up to here. Then come back down here. We'll go here. And then the third line down, going to the last measure. Now you're moderately soft, which is just a little softer. And you're not really going to stay medium soft throughout that whole thing. You're going to get a little louder and softer, but you have to get to know the music well enough that you can feel it. You're not thinking so much about fingers and notes. Then at the second line on page 37, last measure, now you're going to crescendo just a little bit, not much, just a crescendo. And you can actually start this soft, go down a little bit and start soft, so you got more room to crescendo. That's where you're after, but that's only a moderately loud. Don't get carried away with it. And then at the end, the last two measures, you come back down. They've added pedal at the end because they want to keep all these notes going, and you have to move the left hand, and when you do that, you lose those notes. There's another way we can do it. I won't get into it, but go ahead if you want to use pedal in that last measure, just hang on to those notes. I'm not crazy about it because we didn't use pedal anywhere else, and to suddenly change it and add all these overtones at the end like that, I don't know. But on the other hand, we'd like to keep these sounds going. And the only way to do that in the left hand is to have the pedal hang on to them for us. Allegro is about as fast as I've been playing it, I think, although you have to take it your Allegro, not mine. So take it slowly. Until you could get it, and then you can gradually speed it up over time. Eventually, remember to keep the left hand soft and out of the way. It's the right hand we want to hear. Listen to the orchestra play this piece. You get an idea how it flows.